Next is Travis Brown of KBTX Sports.
Hey, Coach, I know I saw a report that there might be injury reporting as in the SEC conference for SEC play. Is that something that y'all are preparing for with one of the first SEC games in a couple weeks?
Yeah, I don't know how you really prepare for that. I think it's one of those things that's just kind of part of it, and we'll do what we got to do to make sure we're doing it right.
And then also, I know Coach Bateman said he's going to be up in the press box. Colin Klein, is he going to be sideline or press box? Is that something y'all have decided yet?
Yeah, Colin will be up in the press box as well. Both of our coordinators will call the game from up there.
All right, thanks.
Next is Matt Guzman of Texas A&M on SI.
Hey, Coach. A couple weeks ago, Trey Zune mentioned that, when you're looking at opponents, you kind of treat them as faceless opponents and focus on playing the brand of football that you're used to. So as you've navigated this training season, what are some of those things that make A&M football what it is?
Yeah, I think it starts with kind of our plan to win, which is we know we've got to go out there and win the turnover battle. We know we've got to go out there and be great on special teams. We know we got to do a really, really good job in situational football. And then we got to be successful in the fourth quarter. And then I think, when you just talk about the intangibles that we want our brand to be based around, there's a physicality, there's a toughness that we want to play with, and we want to be able to control the line of scrimmage on both sides. And I think if we do that more often than not, we'll be able to have success.
Next is Joe Cook of Inside Texas.
Hey, Mike, I know you and Coach Bateman are going to have obviously a share in making sure the defense is ready to go on a down-to-down basis, but obviously you're a defensive guy. What type of involvement do you have not only with Coach Klein, but also maybe with whatever Coach Klein communicates with Connor or whoever you have out there at quarterback? What type of involvement do you want to have as the head coach within helmet communication to player with offensive players?
Yeah, I think that's probably where as the head coach, I could probably cause more harm than good. I don't know that having multiple voices on those headsets is going to be beneficial, offense or defense. I think the way we've kind of talked about it is really going after the NFL model, which is there's only one communicator. For some reason in college, they've given the head coach the ability to flip back and forth. But if you look at how the NFL has used this technology for years, it's the play caller that does all of the communicating, and then the coaches can continue to just talk with each other.
Thank you.
Next will be Thomas Jones of the Austin American-Statesman.
Coach, you have 3 months and 11 games before you play Texas, but people in this state won't stop talking about it. How do you handle that hype, just from fans, boosters, and folks you run into at the grocery store?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I handle it by focusing on Notre Dame. We know it's there, certainly through the offseason. We are very aware of that game, and we know that that's coming down the road. But I think when you get to this point in the season, it's really, really easy to not focus on that one and then just kind of focus at the task at hand.
Thank you, Coach.
Next, we'll go to AP Stedham of the AP and Kelly Show.
Hi, Coach. Uh, Coach, what was the biggest progress you saw from Riley Leonard last year? And then what is the biggest progress you've seen from your own quarterback, Connor Wigman, from day one of the preseason camp?
Yeah, I think Riley going into year two was a much more confident quarterback and a much better leader. Not that he was as poor, but if you remember my first year there, he was in a quarterback competition. And so anytime that's the case, it's really hard to kind of develop that leadership role the way you truly want to as the quarterback. I think last year he came in, firmly planted as not only our quarterback, but also one of the leaders in our locker room. And I think you saw him grow in that area tremendous. And certainly no surprise that he was named captain at Notre Dame. And then from Connor's perspective, I think it's very similar. I think he's for the first time, really gone into a season knowing it was his team and his offense. And so I think the rhythm he's gotten into throwing the ball, the rhythm he's gotten into working with the receivers, but also his comfort in leading and being a voice and being a guy that can motivate the offense now that it's kind of known that he's our guy and he's the quarterback we're building around.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach will wrap you up with a follow-up from Matt Guzman.
Hey, Coach. Yeah, one more. Obviously, with it being your first game on the sidelines as the head coach for A&M, how big of an opportunity is it, and how important is it for you guys to kind of to play an opponent as tough as Notre Dame, and it not just be a non-conference game? That's a team that maybe you're feeling a little bit better about. This is a team that obviously has a lot going for it. So for you to kind of go out strong and play that first game against a team that has a lot of name to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, listen, we've got college game day here. We've got the primetime slot on ABC. There's going to be 4 to 5 million eyes on Texas A&M football this weekend. And so that gives us a tremendous stage and a tremendous platform to go out and put our best foot forward and play our brand of football.
Actually, let's take one more, Coach. Steve Moulton of WZZN. All right, Steve, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I wanted to ask about pressure in the pocket. How do you feel like your squad is doing in that regard coming out of fall camp, Coach?
Yeah, I think we got a lot of confidence in our defensive line. I think we returned Shamar Turner and Shamar Stewart and DJ Hicks and Albert Regis, and those are kids who have been really successful defensive linemen in this conference. We were able to go out and add Nick Skirton and Cassius Howell. I think those guys are going to add tremendous pass rush value to what we do on the edge. And so I think that's got an opportunity to be one of our strengths this year for sure.
And if I heard you right or earlier in the week, Coach, you thought that maybe Riley has the upper hand on you in this matchup. There's a lot of storyline. That storyline is kind of growing. But why do you think Riley has the edge in this matchup between you and your former quarterback?
Well, I don't know about the edge in the matchup. I just think the advantage of playing quarterback against this defense in practice every day for 2 years kind of outweighs the advantage of knowing a kid's strengths and weaknesses. I think you can watch a lot of film and learn about a kid. I think, not a lot of quarterbacks that we play against get to practice for 2 straight years against the defense that we run. And so I think that's kind of where I was going with that.
Coach, thank you for your time.
Yep. Thanks, guys.